So tonight's speaker is Marah Rosenberg, and Marah is going to be talking about a pitch or expressing your view on your company. So I know she's talking about elevator pitch, but also more than that. And what I would encourage you to do, because each of these times we are basically recording it for the 15 or 20 minutes that the speaker has, and Sage is doing a great job of giving that a lot of pizzazz, and we're putting that up on websites as we go along. But she's got some great content on elevator pitches, and what we're doing, of course, is not interrupting that presentation. We want to just get it recorded. But I think she's got lots of content, and it's worth just catching some notes so we can have a good Q&A afterwards, after she gets done with the speaking. So Marah is the program and project manager of dealing with the future of education. She works with Harvard's Business Publishing. And as I mentioned, she's doing elevator pitches, and she is currently in Rhode Island this evening, joining us all the way from Rhode Island. But her plans are to have a connection in the very near future with Salida, Canyon City, Fremont County. And so I think she's going to be physically here in the near future, and she can maybe talk about that when she gets done in the Q&A part of it, so she doesn't interrupt her presentation. But Marah, Mark and I visited with you this afternoon, and we appreciate you joining us this evening. And without further ado, you are on.
So Phil set this up really nicely, and I'm thrilled to be talking to you tonight about value. And we often think about a lot of different things when we think about value, but we often don't think about our elevator pitch or any kind of pitch that we have around our product or service that we're trying to convince others to come in on. So I'll start with saying that hopefully by the end of this 15 to 20 minutes, you'll have more tools to talk about your pitch that you'll have next week and in general as you move through the business world. So what do we look for when we look for things of value? The very standard formula is that we want something that is the highest value, however we determine that to be, at the lowest cost. But the thing is that we're making these decisions in every part of our life all the time. We make these decisions when we're deciding what a kind of snack to have or what kind of meal to have. And they're all based on different pressures or circumstances at the time. You might want to have a hamburger because it's close by and it's easy. Or you might want to choose an orange or another piece of fruit because you're trying to pursue a different kind of intentional eating that isn't fast food. So again, both of these are fine choices, and they bring different aspects of food into our lives that we value differently. They both cost about the same. So if we go back to something that's low cost and high value, you can see how I'm getting at the fact that we can really determine value for each person very individually. But there's more to value than just customers. Customers is where we spend a lot of our time if we talk about who's valuing our product or service. But I think that it's also important to point out that there are other kinds of value. There's value to your own business. So when you're looking at something, is this bringing my own company value in the choices that I'm making? Or is this bringing my industry value? The tools that we have, such as the tools from the business model canvas and strategizer, and in this case, the value proposition, can be applied across customers, our internal business, as well as our industry. Take the section on the right where it says customer job, and imagine that is your customer is not just the customer at the end who's buying your product or service, but it's your own company. What are the pains and the gains of your company? What can you do inside your company with a product or service or choice to create gain and relieve pain? Think about this similarly for an industry that you're in, and you'll start to see how value has a wide range of options. Another way to look at value, and this is where we'll spend a lot more time, is to layer on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So this is a school of thought that's been around for quite a long time, and this is one view into the idea of needs. So you have these like base needs, your safety, your physiological needs, and without those, you can't move on to your psychological needs of belonging and esteem. And without those psychological needs being met, you'll never get to self-fulfillment. If we start thinking about these needs and how we can, as a provider of goods and services, meet them, we start looking at value. And the folks at Bain Capital took Maslow's hierarchy of needs and started layering on words of value into this hierarchy. And it's not an exact one-to-one match, but it's pretty interesting to think about our basic functional needs and values. Does this product help me stay organized? Does it entertain me? Does it give me an emotional need? Is it changing my life and helping me provide motivation, or in some cases, be an heirloom gift that I can pass on? Or is it something that I can buy and have a larger social impact? In this hierarchy, there are around 30 values, and it's really interesting to start thinking about different products and services and applying this value set. So for example, let's take the Instapot. This is a consumer good, and it has many of these elements. As you're looking at this, just think in your head, what kinds of values come to mind when you think of this? Perhaps it's because it brings up simplifying. It simplifies your life. It's all one pot. Maybe it's fun because it's a novel new kitchen tool. Perhaps you also have some kind of affiliation and belonging value with it, because there's a lot of online communities dedicated to Instapot and Instapot cooking. So you have a community now that you're working and creating meals with. So it's interesting to start thinking about some of the things in our lives and see how this value pyramid can apply. And in general, when we think about these value pyramids and how different products and services apply to them, the more of the items that you can say your product truly exemplifies, the greater loyalty you'll have by your customer base. And this also can be applied internally. So take Salesforce. Salesforce is actually, has quite a few of these. It has a badging and rewarding. It's also very aesthetically pleasing. It helps you make money. It's organizing, high quality, and it also serves many, many different needs. So, the thing about these value pyramids is also that we can look at a particular aspect and then really drive campaigns around them. Or we can look at industries. So in this case, I want to take the video conferencing industry, which has been around for many, many years, but really, as we all know, has taken off in the last 18 months. And so those elements of value could be, saving time, reducing cost, having a connection, providing access. Really, in some cases with filters, you have design aesthetics or nostalgia. So it also provides a sense of ease and also a sense of hope that we're still connected. So it's an industry-based innovation, but it still has a lot of impact across the pyramid. Why do we care about this? Why is this important to any of us? because it actually does increase profit. What the folks at Bain Capital did was they surveyed consumers in 2016, and they looked at companies that scored high on these value elements. And if you could find companies that truly had 4 or more value elements that everyone agreed on, you had a higher revenue growth and you had a higher net promoter score, which meant that customers were more likely to recommend this product or service to another person. But they also warned people and found that it was really impossible to include all 30 values in any particular given offering. Even though there were some universal values like quality, it was really important to stay focused and know what you were selling and why. So moving back to the value pyramid here, understanding that when you go back into that pitch, you want to focus on this. It saves you time. It avoids. It helps you connect. It is something that generates affiliation and belonging. And it can possibly provide hope that we all are staying connected. Just for an example of video conferencing. So let's revisit the elevator pitch, and I'll close with this. This is one of many different pitch formulas out there, and you can go to elevatorpitch.com and see others. So if you take the work that you've been doing this semester, looking at the business model canvas and the value proposition canvas, you know who your target customer is, and you know what their needs or wants are. You have a better understanding through this class of what your product is and the benefits that it provides. So you can string together a really quick conversation with somebody about who you are, what you're doing, what your company is doing, and the value that it's providing. So as you can see, value is a lot more than what the Merriam-Webster definition is. It's a lot more than just a fair return in goods and services. It's really a whole vocabulary that you can use to reach your customers, whether those customers be your internal customers in your business, your customer who's working and buying your product or service, or the industry as a whole. And with that, I'll wrap up and thank you all so much for your time. And I look forward to a Q&A and future conversations when I get out to Colorado.